and to PropTechBuzz, a business podcast on global PropTech, where we talk to PropTech CEOs and founders from all over the globe and learn from them how they build and manage successful PropTech companies. We have an exciting guest today, but before I introduce my guest, I would like to let all our audience know that our community, our YouTube channel, has grown to over 1,300 subscribers. So that is a feat that I'm quite proud of, especially since this is a niche. PropTech is a niche sector, and also we are on Spotify. So please feel free to go and if you prefer listening on audio on your car while on the move, while jogging, go to Spotify and you can find us there. Just look for PropTechBuzz and you will find us there. And please rate our podcast, because I've been hearing a lot of offline feedback about how much they like this podcast. But translate that into action and just rate it on Spotify so that it appears high when people search for PropTech content. So that was the request from my end. With that, let's welcome our guest today. Our guest is Saurabh Tyagi. Saurabh is the CEO and co-founder of PropChk. It's actually spelled PropChk, as you can see on the screen as well. Saurabh is an engineering graduate from IIT Roorkee and has been working in the real estate sector for the last 18 years. He has held several senior positions in the past while working for real estate developers, and also advised several PE firms while running his own consulting firm for over 6 years. His latest passion is building his new startup called PropChk. PropChk is India's leading property inspection company. Founded in early 2022, the company has witnessed tremendous growth over the last 15 months or so. They have also managed to partner with IIT Roorkee to help them build a uniform code for home inspection in India. And do check out the website to hear more from that. So with that, let's welcome Saurabh. Saurabh, welcome to PropTechBuzz. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Ravi. Thanks for having me here. I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm doing great as well, Saurabh, and I was looking forward to this conversation with bated breath. I think we checked this morning also, and I was in the gym when you messaged me. Is it on? Of course, it is on. Apologies that we had to move this one time, but today I'm very very eagerly to have this conversation. So, Saurabh,
Thank you.
before we get into the meteor stuff of PropChk, let's understand the transition story. So you are a veteran, you are a PropTech veteran. You have been in this industry for so many years. What led you to build PropChk? What was that idea that did not let you stop and build this?
Yeah, sure. So I've co-founded this company with my partner Uttam Reddy. So he's a fairly successful real estate developer based out of Hyderabad. So that's the irony. So he's been delivering a lot of residential units to his customers, and despite all the good intentions, the builder community is notoriously, famous for the wrong things.
Hmm.
Somehow customers are not very happy, with their final product, and that's where, I mean, we both met, and I was also, like you had introduced me, I'd been a part of the industry for the last 17, 18 years now. Uh, you know, Working across big developers, small developers, mid-sized developers, everywhere we saw the same story. The intention is there for the builder to deliver a world-class product, and he's paying the contractor, to get the work done. But somehow, the end product, because it is dependent on workmanship a lot, it's material and workmanship. It's not able to satisfy the end user. That's where this thought triggered. So my parents live in Canada, and they had recently bought a property, and we saw that there was something called a property inspection report. So although it was not mandated by the government, but it is like a virtual norm there. Every transaction precedes, a home inspection is required. So that's where I was intrigued to see, let me just have a look at the report. And it was such a beautiful and a transparent way to conduct a transaction that gives, a mental peace to the buyer, as well as the seller is equally happy to do a fair deal. So these two things happened, and then we were like, Uttam and I met, and we were like, let's do something in this space. This is the next big thing in India. So yeah, I mean, that's how the thought came, and we just jumped into it. There was hardly any competition in the space. So that's where we were like, so one very important thing was we studied the home inspection market in the US, right? With a population of one fourth of India, they have over 5,000 plus home inspection companies there registered.
Wow.
Over 30,000 plus home inspectors, licensed home inspectors. It's a licensed industry there.
Wow.
So we like, this is a huge opportunity, and there's hardly anybody doing this in India. So that actually led us to jump into this business, and yeah, I mean it's just been a upward journey from there on.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you for letting us know the potential there. However, I still want to know, dig deeper into the challenges. Why would a well-meaning developer not be able to deliver a good product? And what you mentioned about the term workmanship, and where is the gap where they are not able to deliver the fine product at the end?
Right. See, typically the real estate industry functions. There are a lot of people working together to build a project, right? Developer these days is nothing but a project coordinator, right?
Mm,
He arranges for land from somewhere, he arranges the capital from somewhere else, he gets the best of the architects to design the project, he gets the approvals from the government, he arranges for he engages various contractors. There'll be a different contractor for the civil work, different contractor for the finishing, a different contractor for lighting, facade. There are different consultants and contractors who come together and build a project, right? And the developer is virtually a project coordinator than
mm,
a builder himself. What happens is he gets the best of consultants, he gets the best of contractors, and there are hundreds of contractors working on a single project. Now, because of this multiplicity, there are so many people working together. The output is dependent. The construction quality is dependent primarily two things. One is the material used. What is the kind of steel, the kind of cement, the kind of interior fit outs, the brands that I'm using. I may use the best of the material, but there's a second factor that is responsible for the output, which is workmanship. A mason laying the tile. That's going to be a completely physical, a completely labor intensive work, and no two contractors can come up with the same finish when it comes to labor work,
mm,
and that is where the difference comes.
right.
There are too many contractors working in the same project, in the same tower of a residential complex. There'll be at least 5 to 10 different contractors working on the same thing. So that's where there is an inconsistency in the quality, and it is very important for a regular check of these properties to happen while they are getting constructed, in order to ensure a perfect, a near to perfect final product. So that is the reason why there is a inconsistency.
So if what you are saying is correct, then are you saying that the best of the developers also have products that are flawed? That means the status quo has been a flawed status quo. Is that how it is?
Absolutely.
And there's a lot to catch up. Is that how it is?
I mean, unfortunately, that's the reality. That's the truth. So I was speaking about my own co-founder, who, who came to know about this concept, and obviously, he started applying it in his own projects first, you know.
Mm,
And that has led to a tremendous improvement in the quality, and the tremendous improvement in the final product. So yes, even the best of the developers, the most reputed ones, are not able to deliver, a perfect home. So
so give us some examples on where you see drastic inconsistencies on what is being delivered to the customers. Like what could be the big gaps, big flaws in a product?
see, the biggest challenge that we, or the biggest defects, the most common defects that we observe are, things like hollow tiles, or
Mm,
offset in flooring.
mm,
Then there is dampness, undulation in the wall finish,
mm,
dampness which is not visible to the naked eye. So even
mm,
if I want to do a visual inspection, I'll not be able to find out if the walls are damp or not. But when
mm.
we conduct a thermal inspection, that's where we come to know that, hey, there's something wrong here, and that needs to be corrected. Um, so things like these, these are the most common defects. Something as simple as a door,
Mm.
has over 8 to 9 elements that we check in a door, right
Right.
from the door frame to, the shutter to the hinges to the locks, the door stopper to, the gaps, whether they've been sealed properly, the rubber gasket. Something
Mm.
as simple as a door has 10 things that we check, and
Right.
somewhere or the other there's some defect that comes up.
So what happens today if somebody is handed over a flat or property, and then they identify these defects? What happens? What's the experience next?
Yeah, so most of the developers, I would say, are happy to, accept these reports.
Mm.
So, let's call them like a snag list.
No,
And
not your reports. I'm talking about a customer who has not yet interacted with you. Okay, he
right.
buys a product. They buy a product and they realize that these are the flaws in the coming weeks or months. Eventually, what
Mhm.
happens? What do they do when without a player like you? What is the kind of interaction with the developer?
See, the most opportune time to identify and report the defects is the time when the possession is happening. That's an
Mm.
official process, right? There's a possession letter that needs to be signed by the customer that yes, I've checked my flat and I'm happy with it. I hereby take the possession of the property.
Right.
Now, this is the most opportune. I'm not saying there's no other time that you can go to the developer, but this is the most logical time to actually go and report these defects to the developer, because there's something that the developer can also do about it,
Right.
because he still has his contractors working on the project. He still has the material. Well, just to give you an example, let's say there's a tile that's cracked. Okay. Now, if the customer goes to the developer after 6 months saying that this tile is cracked,
Mm.
even if the developer wants, he cannot replace it because he doesn't have that particular tile in stock. You know.
Mm.
So versus if he tells the customer, if he tells the developer at the time of possession, then there's something he can take an action. He can take a corrective action on it.
Got
And
it.
the developers don't really have a problem doing it because they anyways have to pay the contractor,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
So they're happy to deliver a defect-free property.
What's usually the expectation of the developer? Does he have the duty to ensure that the product for the next 1 year is flawless, or if something is discovered later after the possession, is there a contract where the developer can, without a player like you who hasn't done any due diligence, like do they have 1 year maintenance or something of that?
Yeah, so as per clause 14, subsection 3 of RERA Act 2016, it clearly puts the developer under a defect liability period of 5 years
5 years.
post-possession,
Okay.
right? So even after the customer has taken the possession, within 5 years, if there's a defect found in the property, and if it is reported to the developer has to fix it within 30 days
Mm.
or compensate the customer accordingly.
Got it.
Now, there is a gray area here. That's where I said that the most opportune time is to, report these defects at the time of possession.
Right.
The gray area is these defects should not be because of wear and tear,
Mm.
right? So things like, let's say, for example, I take a stone and break my glass. I can't go to the developer and say, hey, the glass is broken, fix it. He'll be
Right.
like, you've done it yourself. Uh, or maybe something fell on the floor and the tile cracked.
Right.
Now that's because of my negligence.
Yeah.
Now this could also be because the tile was already hollow,
Right.
but there is no way to determine that once the event has happened,
Got it.
right? So that's why we keep telling our customers not to. Uh, Obviously there is a provision for you which is done by the government, 5 years defect liability period, but these are generally more on the structure side. There's
Mm.
something wrong with the structure. If there's a
Got it.
crack that gets developed in one of the columns, that of course cannot be because of wear and tear.
Got it.
So yeah, so yeah,
Got it.
so there is a provision, but to use that provision judiciously, I think it's better to engage an agency like us at the
Got it.
time of.
Got it. I clearly see the problem space here, because it then gets into difficult conversations with the developer. There's dispute. Developers agrees on a few things, disagrees on a few things. But if you resolve all of this before before possession, it's clean, it's neat, and then you go
Correct.
you take over the property happily. So this is the problem part. Let's look at the solution. So how does PropChk solve this?
Yeah, so PropChk is basically nothing but a property inspection company, right? So we consciously call ourselves property inspection because we are both into residential, commercial, retail, hospitality, government buildings, institutional buildings. Anything to do with property, we inspect it. So the PropChk team, visits the property, spends around 3 to 4 hours there at the property, and checks every square inch of the property, all the elements, right from your flooring to your wall finish to ceiling, electricals, plumbing, doors, windows, kitchen cabinets, sanitary ware. So every nook and corner of the property is thoroughly inspected with the help of some high-tech equipment, that our engineers carry with them, and of course using our mobile app that has been developed in-house, and that's how they conduct the inspection. And within 5 minutes post the inspection, because of our app, a report is generated. So it's as quick as like a snap of a finger, and we have the report with us. The report then goes to the validation team that validates the report if everything is done properly or not, or if there's any defect that we've missed to report. And then it is finally sent to the customer. The customer takes this report, sends it to the developer, asking him to fix all these defects that have been listed down, because every defect is supported with a photographic evidence. It's a very objective report, Ravi. It's not subjective. It's not our opinion that hey, we feel that the wall is not finished properly. No, we will tell you there's a crack in the wall. Here is the picture. Please fix it. That's the kind of objectivity with which we do these inspections.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, from there on, it's the developer who fixes these defects, calls the customer again. Customer calls us back for the re-inspection. Our engineer goes again, checks whether all the defects that were pointed out have been fixed properly or not. If there is still some defects that are pending, we give it back to the customer. So that's how it is.
Does the customer understand all the technical aspects of these defects? Like, does the report is it in user friendly way, or do you also consult them? Are you mediating between them and the developers on technical things? How does it work out? How's the
Yeah,
experience?
sure. That's a very good question, actually. So we've consciously kept the format of the report very user friendly, as in even a layman can understand it, right? So we don't expect our customers to be civil engineers or coming from a technical background, right?
Yeah.
So we keep it very simple, a very simple language, and we show them pictures of the defect, right? So the answer to your first question is yes, it's a very user friendly and a very simple format, which has been consciously kept so that the customers can be benefited. And sorry, what was the second question?
My second question was, do you intermediate between them and the developer in case the topics get too technical for them to handle by themselves?
Yes. So as a part of our service, this is an inspection. We offer a 30-day free consultation with a senior engineer. Right? It's a telephonic consultation. You can call n number of times, talk to our engineer, understand the report. If there's something that you've not really understood of this, something that, let's say, the developer or the contractor is challenging, the report, you can get back to us for up to 30 days, and we'll be happy to resolve all your queries. If required, you can take us in conference with the contractor slash builder developer, and we'll be happy to get in a conversation with them and explain to them our standpoint.
Got it. And then there is a round two after the fixes are done. You do a round two just to see if
We do
everything
a
is done.
round two. Yeah, that's called re-inspection.
Re-inspection, and that is part of your the contract, right?
Yeah. So it depends. If the customer opts for a re-inspection, we give a re-inspection. But if he opts only for an inspection, we just do that first round of inspection, give the report, and that's it. Our work is done.
Okay. So it comes with the price, is it? The
It comes
inspection.
with a price. It comes
Got
with a price.
Got it. And so I had a question on how popular was the concept of property inspection before PropChk, and you said that there's hardly anybody solving this, and the
There are
inspiration.
there are people. There are people. I wouldn't say there are some local players who are present in very small geographies like people in Kolkata or Bombay. There's one small player in Pune, and there's a player in Bangalore. So they're all regionally present, but we are the first pan-India company, I could say, who are present in all the major cities. Yeah.
And these regional players, are they well equipped? Like, what is your value proposition in terms of differentiation? Like, is this something that you have more data points that your technology and your web app covers? Like, do you distinguish yourself, differentiate yourself from others somehow?
Yeah, sure. So the short answer is from the time PropChk has come, everyone's trying to up their game. So we were the first ones to come up with the digital twin concept. So
Okay.
the report was our report is submitted in two formats. One is a PDF format with defects in the pictures, and the other is a 360-degree digital twin of your property where we accurately pinpoint all the defects. So yeah, I mean, we're trying to up the game of our competitors.
Is it a
But yeah,
when you say digital twin, it's a virtual reality of the space, or what is it?
it's a 360 photography, 360-degree photography of your property. That
Okay.
file is stitched, and then all the defects are marked, on in that 360-degree environment. So let's say there is a hollow tile in your living room.
Mhm.
There are three hollow tiles in the living room. So which are those tiles? We mark them in a 360-degree environment.
What do you mean by 360 environment? Is it, you're talking about a digital format, because you delivered a PDF report, right?
Yes, we deliver a PDF report as well as a digital twin, which is a 360-degree picture of your house where you can move around. There are hotspots made on your laptop or on your mobile phone
Yes,
itself. You can
exactly.
keep
So,
moving around.
got it. So digital as in, so you give them an interface, digital interface, not just the PDF.
Digital,
So you
not
have
just
a
the PDF.
printed device, okay, with a
Yes,
physical deliverable, which is a PDF. You also
yes,
provide them a virtual setup where they can navigate across the rooms, wherein you have these hotspots which
yes.
identify the pain points, right? So, okay.
Right. So that's
Uh,
one. And see, besides that, I would say, see, this industry, unfortunately, in India, there are no standards, right? There are no standards
mm,
or protocols for home inspection business, right? So while we have the National Building Code, which is primarily for the civil structure or the superstructure at max, but there is hardly anything defined for the finishes. So I'll give you an
mm,
example. Let's say hollowness in tiles, right? Now, what is this? What is the tolerance limit for hollowness in tiles, right?
mm,
It's not defined anywhere.
right.
And people are making up their own, standards. They're like, hey, the tile can be hollow right in the center, but it can't be hollow at the corners, right?
Mm,
Yeah, some of them are like, it can be hollow at the corners, but it cannot be hollow at the center.
right.
So, all these theories are coming up, and there is no authority that has actually defined these things.
Got it.
So that's where we took the initiative of partnering with the mecca of civil engineering in India, which is IIT Roorkee,
Is
and
it?
yeah, I mean, so
I
it's
did not.
100. So IIT Roorkee is a 175-year-old institute, and
Uh-huh.
in fact, they had started as Thompson College of Civil Engineering,
Hmm.
and the college was established as a civil engineering college,
Hmm.
and they're known for it. So, in fact, they have their all these earthquake testing laboratories and all is present in IIT Roorkee. No other IIT has that.
Right.
So. So we very strategically partnered with them, and
Mhm.
it was a difficult ask. We had to convince them that yes, this is for a national interest. We're doing this for the entire country.
Right.
It's not a personal assignment.
Right.
And this is going to benefit the industry at large.
Mhm.
So we got our checklists, processes, protocols, everything vetted by IIT Roorkee, and very soon we have plans of bringing it as Indian standards. So that's where,
Oh, lovely.
yeah.
Lovely,
So
lovely. Yeah, any standardization of this has a bigger cause, right? It's not just, it's not benefiting you, but it's benefiting the entire ecosystem.
the entire industry, and that's the intention with which we started PropChk. We want to really, we are a totally a customer centric company, and the concept is completely for the customers, that we want to make sure that every property buyer deserves and gets a defect-free property at the end. He's paid
How,
his lifetime savings, in buying that property.
got it.
So yeah.
So how does these standards work? Like, do you then form a consortium where all the players in the market have to adhere to these standards, or like, is there an association? How does this work out?
See, we plan to approach the BIS, which is the Bureau of Indian Standards. That is the the authority that rolls out these standards for everyone to follow. So that's where we're going to recommend, along with IIT, to BIS, that yeah, this is what we've done. We are the best in the industry. We have academia. We've got a business line here. We want to together approach them and recommend that these standards should be rolled out for the entire country. So yeah,
How,
then it
how,
becomes.
so you mentioned that this is much more organized in the West and in Canada, in the US. Do they have such standards, like
Yes,
countrywide standards that they have to adhere to?
absolutely. Absolutely, it's a regulated business. So, in fact, you need a license to practice to be a home inspector.
Mm,
So out of 50 to 38 states, in fact, in the US, have I mean, this home inspection is a regulated industry there.
mm,
So I mean, I can't just go to your house and inspect and say, hey, I found everything and everything is good, or what these are defects.
got it.
It will not be valid.
Got it. Any plans to also introduce this to RERA so that it comes under their purview, and somehow the regulation also would be standardized there?
Yes, we are in touch with the right people, but it's too early for me to disclose anything on that front.
Got it. So you mentioned about there are two things, right? So you have this app, and then there are these high tech equipments. Do you want to shed some more light on the high tech equipment side?
Yeah, so our inspection process is completely NDT, that's non-destructive testing, right? It's a visual inspection.
Hmm.
So there are a few things that can not be checked, with the naked eye.
Hmm.
So, for example, let's I give you example of a damp wall, which is not, which I'm not able to see or feel physically, but when we scan it with the help of a thermal camera,
Right.
we get a wet spot there. We get
Got it.
maybe a doubt there, and then we clarify that with the help of a moisture meter.
Right.
And then things like let's say an RCD, a tester, right, which will be which is basically plugged into every socket to check whether the earthing is done properly or not.
Right.
So things like these. So these are the equipments that we carry, like a spirit level, or something as simple as a mallet to check the hollowness of the tile, to
Right.
a multimeter. Like, as a part of our service, we also measure the carpet area of the property.
Right.
So we need a digital laser meter there.
Mhm.
So yeah, so these are the kind of equipment that we use.
Got it. Um, just curious, this is a business podcast. So when you came up with this idea, where you saw this potential and you wanted to jump in, what did it take for you? Because this seems like a lot of investment, technology investment, skill
Yes.
set, building a team, and stuff like that. And you launched it 2022. So I'm supposing you had 1 year of timeline with you to just build this and launch. So could
Yes.
you could you let us know, from idea stage to implementation, what was your journey like? Did you raise some funds and stuff like that?
Yeah. So we bootstrapped
Mhm.
till date, and we are operationally profitable.
Ah,
So
nice.
yeah, so we didn't really feel the need to raise the funds as such, but yeah, once we reach a particular threshold and we are able to, claim a good valuation, then we are open to raising some funds to expand to basically for expansion. Because the biggest challenge that we're facing is awareness. People are not aware of this concept.
Right.
Um, but once people become aware of this concept, so to give you an example, our conversion rate is around 20%. So
Wow.
that's
That's a good one, no?
one out of five people, one out of five inquiries are getting converted into a transaction for us, which is a
Nice.
home inspection for us.
Yeah.
That's a very high conversion rate, which means
Right.
people love this concept, but they're just not aware of it.
Right.
We haven't raised any funds.
Right.
We spent around 6 months in developing the app, the checklists, and the processes, the protocols.
Right.
Then our first money hit the bank in Feb 2022.
Ah, nice. Nice.
Yeah,
Your first customer, you mean?
the first customer, yes. The
Got it.
first
And
paid customer, yeah, a paying customer. Yeah.
first paying customer. So did you? So when you were building the product, the prototype, I'm sure you would have benchmarked yourself with existing players and others. So what was the benchmark like? Did you have anything to benchmark yourself to, like Western players, or did you talk to your parents on how it's happening in Canada and stuff like that? Or
Yeah, so of course, West was a very natural place to start with. We collected a bunch of reports, but what we realized was, for the Indian construction industry, it's very different. You know, in Canada and US, all you got wooden houses, so they have a lot of issues pertaining to termites, to roofing, insulation, heating. These are the kind of issues they face as compared to our structures are brick and mortar, right? So we don't we couldn't really take the checklist as is and build something and copy paste here.
right.
We had to innovate it. We met a lot of professors from various IITs, and that's how we built this checklist. And in the entire process, we did a lot of research on what are the best equipment to use, to get the right answer. And yeah, I mean that's how we didn't really have anyone to benchmark us against,
Right.
but with whatever little we could gather from different places, we did put them together and build something nice.
Got it. Let's talk about the business model, the pricing model. So what kind of pricing do you offer to your customers?
Yeah, so our pricing is dependent on two things. One is the number of bedrooms you have, because more the number of bedrooms you have, more the number of walls would come in to play, and more time would go in inspecting them. And second is the square footage. So what is the area, right? So if it's a 1 BHK up to 750 square feet, we charge 6,900
Mhm.
plus GST, right, for our inspection. So it's very economical. If it's a 2 BHK, it's around 9,500. 3 BHK, 11,000. And the maximum slab is around 12,500. So that's for apartments. And for villas, because there'll be some external areas as well as the terrace area and the overhead tanks and all that need to be inspected in addition to the area within the four walls.
Mm.
Our pricing starts from 16,000.
Got it. This is pretty reasonable, no, for the
Very
value, for the pain point that you're solving. This is
hardly 0.1% of
for
the.
the
I mean, if I consider 1 crore as the average property price,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
1 crore rupees as the average property price.
Yeah, yeah, for
Uh,
the peace of mind that you're giving them.
yeah,
Just
just
imagine.
spending 0.1% to ensure that that 1 crore has been put in the right place.
Exactly, it gives you the peace of mind, no, because
Absolutely,
so yeah, I mean it's a reasonably priced, but for the value, I think over time,
absolutely.
once I think this should be even more priced. Okay, good, excellent. And you said that you are, but this is like when you say you're pan India, it needs a pan India sales team, isn't it? So is that
No,
how?
so our sales team, that's the best part. Our sales team sits here in Delhi, where I'm sitting right now. So we are
Okay.
headquartered in New Delhi, uh, and maximum business is coming from Bangalore. You know,
From Delhi, is it? Okay.
yeah. So my sales team, my sales, marketing, the operations head, all the head of the departments sit here in Delhi,
Okay.
uh, and only the operations team,
Mhm.
they are spread out in the various cities. So we have a process. So our training center is in Hyderabad,
Mhm.
thanks to Uttam's various projects, which become our play field. To kind of practice, and
Did you
that's
say
where
training center?
training. Yes, our training. So we are very particular about training.
I see.
We hire only BTech, that is a 4 year engineering degree.
Mm,
Holders, civil engineering. We
nice.
don't hire diplomas. Um, with at least 3 to 5 years of experience in the quality check domain,
Wow.
and we pay our engineers really well,
Mhm.
and we then put them on a 1 month training in our Hyderabad facility, and
Mhm.
once they complete their training, they pass their exam. That's when they are put to their respective city. They're deployed at their
Right.
respective cities. So yeah, that's the process.
Nice. And for the growth of your business, let's talk about how you have fared in the last year or so, and then we'll talk about your future growth as well. So,
Sure,
how
sure.
has the business been from the very beginning?
Well, um, I mean, unbelievably, uh, the entire growth has been much more than what we expected.
Mm.
Um, it took us, I think, three to 4 months for us for the first 100 inspections. Right? Initially, we did struggle.
Hmm.
And, within a year, we are now doing close to 400 inspections a month. So
400 inspections a month. Wow.
yes, yeah, that's the growth that we've achieved, and we've not yet hit our total potential.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, on an average day, we have around 10 to 15 inspections, 20 inspections happening every
Mm.
day, in different parts of the country.
Right.
So that's the growth that we achieved.
Mm.
Um, on the B2B front, is a very interesting thing. So last year it was all B2C, all these individual home inspections that we were doing.
Right.
But this year has been fantastic in terms of B2B. We've done some work for Tata Steel, we've done for Tata Housing, for Maruti,
Mm.
for a lot of government projects in Karnataka,
Right.
and some institutional buildings. So a lot of these B2B projects are coming up now.
So
Uh,
what's the dynamic in B2B? Like, how does it work out? Do you have a contracts with the developers who offer this as an additional service to the customers?
no,
For
no, 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 no. So when I say B2B, it is, let's say, um, you're building um, a hospital, right?
I
Now, as
see.
the owner of the hospital, that becomes a B2B for me. Or
Got
let's say you have a restaurant, right?
got
And
it.
you want to. So I can't take the name of the restaurant that we're doing these inspections for, but this is a pan India chain.
Right.
Um, so they want the same experience for their customers pan India, right? So
Mm.
um, we do inspections, regular inspections for them.
Nice.
Um, so
You said regular inspection. So that
periodic,
is it a repeatable business as well? Because that was one of
yes.
the. Okay.
Yes, yes, it is indeed. In fact, we're doing this every 6 months.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, so every 6 months we're doing for few of our clients we're doing periodic inspections where we have to go check as per their checklist. So they have their
Mhm.
own standards that they want us to follow in addition to our checklist. So it's like we go there, we check, we give them a report with all the snacks, then they fix it. So
Got it.
yeah.
And with due time, are you adding new data sets? Like, I'm sure, like when you started, you had a set of data points that you offer, but experience would tell you that you get new scenarios and new material and stuff like that, isn't it?
Yes, yes, absolutely. So that's the beauty of tech, right? I mean, our backend panel is very flexible.
Hmm.
We've kept fields open, so as and when there is something new that we've not really come across in the past, it gets to the head of ops. He examines it, dives deeper into it, and
Hmm.
then adds this to the checklist. There's a new item now that we are checking. So we're evolving, although for the last 5 to 6 months, there's hardly been any addition to that list. But yeah, I mean, there is a provision for sure.
So I'm just curious. So B2C, I understand. Would you not also want, or even the developers would not want to partner with you because they would want to do a good job themselves? Okay, because as you said, they are struggling. They are project managing their deliverable with so many stakeholders, but they would want to officially give this mandate to you to do a clean job so that the customer don't have to go and. So does this dynamic also is happening or not?
Yes. Yeah. Off late, the last 4 months or so,
Hmm.
we've been approached by a lot of developers who are saying, don't go to our customers, don't do it for them. Do you
Hmm.
do it for us because we have all the intentions to deliver a world
Right.
class product to them.
Right.
So, and then you certify us,
Right.
so we are doing this for a couple of builders. I cannot take their name. I'm under a NDA with them.
Right. Right.
So we're doing it for a couple of builders,
Right.
both in South India and in North India,
Mm-hmm.
uh, where we are doing, the entire complexes, are getting inspected by us, and it's like a pre-delivery inspection, and
Right.
we give it to them. It's meant for the developer only. We can't share those reports with the customer, of course.
Right.
And then there is an inspection, a re-inspection, a re-inspection kind of a
Mm.
that we're doing until the product is defect free.
Right. So how
There
do
are
you
yes.
so strategically would that be a difficult choice to make? Should you go to the developers or should you go to the customers? Because customers are always going to be price sensitive, but developers would want to would have the budget, no?
Trust me, developers are more price sensitive.
Okay. Okay.
So, um, see, the answer is very simple.
Mm.
Our intent, right? Our mission statement, our vision is to make sure that every property buyer in India gets a defect-free property, right?
Right. Mm.
Now, the first step towards getting a defect-free property is identifying the defects,
Right.
right? Now, who pays for it doesn't matter, right? Whether it's the customer or the developer, the bottom line is the defects need to be fixed,
Mm.
right? And for that to happen, they need to be identified, and that's what PropChk does. We love finding faults,
Nice.
so that's what we are good at that.
Nice. So you
So
mentioned about the lack of awareness in the market. What are you doing for educating the market?
yeah, so we recently concluded a roadshow in Bangalore. Um, this was last month, April. Yeah,
Mm.
we got a tremendous response from there. We did we went to different corporate IT parks and then to different popular malls there. We got covered by a lot of media, um, and then we advertised on newspaper, radio, all these campaigns going on. It
Mm.
was a tremendous response that we got from there,
Mm.
and that's how. I mean, then of course, partly that's the reason why we're getting more business from Bangalore than any other place in India.
Got it.
But yeah, these are the kind of initiatives that we're taking. We're kind of coming up with participating in webinars like these that you organize to spread the word.
Is Bangalore the early adopter for any kind of change? Is that why Bangalore is special in many ways? Why is Bangalore so responsive to any business ideas?
Yeah, actually, I think the people of Bangalore are more exposed, to
Mm. I see. IT
the
park.
world.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Mm.
It's all IT crowd.
Mm.
They have a lot of disposable income. They are more tech savvy.
Right.
Uh, so, in fact, not only Bangalore, Hyderabad, is at a very is very close to Bangalore in terms of the growth that we've seen. The kind of numbers that we're doing are
Right.
almost equal. Hyderabad is almost as good as Bangalore for us. These are the
Right.
two biggest markets for us. We've
Right.
recently started picking up, doing really well in Mumbai and Pune.
Mm. Mm.
Delhi NCR, we're getting a lot of B2B for some reason. B2C
Mm.
is a little slow here.
Got it. So while there is awareness, there is also competition, right? If there is potential, if you are growing, the market is growing. That means there will be more
Absolutely.
competition coming in as well.
Yes. Yes.
So what kind of competition do you see over time? Is the market big enough for 10 big players to survive and thrive? Is that how it is? Like,
The
is it
market, you'll be
limited?
surprised, you'll be surprised.
Yeah.
The market is big enough for 20,000 such companies,
Okay.
right? You take the example of US, right? I told you there are 5,000 companies there registered,
Right.
and they're doing well, right?
Mm.
So, with a population of one fourth of ours.
Mm.
So, if you just multiply that by four, you've got 20,000 space for 20,000 such players to be here.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean the market is huge. In fact, we want more people to come enter the space, and work with us, provide that world class stuff to the customers, and that's only going to help us, you know, catalyze the entire process in terms of spreading awareness.
Nice, because Also, you do not have any distinction between primary market and secondary market. In fact, the resale flats need you more than a
Yes,
new one, isn't it? So that way the market is even more, even bigger, not just
not
new.
just new, but yeah, I would say in terms of transactions, there are almost 1:1 ratio. So maybe primary is more number of transactions happening in the primary market than the secondary in India, because we're still, that urbanization is still happening.
Right,
And so, yeah, I would say almost an equal number.
right. And how many players are there today? If the serious ones, including locals, like um, would you know? Like,
You've interviewed one of them.
yeah, yeah.
So
I mean, yeah. Interviewed Nimadi. That's correct. Yes,
Nemadi. I think Nemadi is,
Nimadi. Yes,
if you say Nemadi. So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
Nemadi.
Nimadi. Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's one. I think there's one called Mac J, if I remember correctly the name. I wouldn't know of a couple of others who are using a similar name like ours.
Mm,
So yeah, so these are some of the few. I mean, these are the only ones I'm aware of.
got it.
But I mean, we really want more players to come, and up this game.
Up this game. Exactly. Yeah. With good competition, good people coming in,
Yes,
it's better.
yes, absolutely. And this the awareness would spread, right? And that's what we want.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, that's why the first mover, whoever is the first mover, is actually laying the ground, preparing the market for the second mover. Many a times people say, "Oh, I'm the first mover." No, no, you're actually making it easy for somebody who's even better, maybe, with you to go to
Absolutely.
market. You are doing the hard job
Absolutely.
for them, right? So,
Absolutely. It's like
um,
they're making the runway and for the other player to just take off.
yeah, take off. Right? So nice. Okay, great. So your growth for your business. So it's primarily how do you want to grow your business? It's again PR, education, educating the market, tying up with the property managers and stuff like that.
Yeah, so we're getting a lot of references from architects, interior designers, um, contractors. In
Mm,
fact, even the contractors are like, why don't you check my own work before I deliver to my client?
mm,
So yeah, so references are pouring in from all over the place. Um, More than that, I think digital marketing is what we are relying upon the most right now. Apart from doing certain campaigns, some activations here and there. So very soon we plan to do something for the Delhi NCR market,
right.
an activation. So yeah,
Good. So other than lack of awareness, what are some other big challenges that you are facing with your business?
the other big challenges. Well, I'll be very honest with you. At the moment,
Man-
hiring
Hiring.
is
Okay.
the biggest challenge.
Training
Uh,
and hiring.
Training and hiring, because it's a good problem to have, but still a problem. We just because we're actually growing at a very big pace, and we're
Mm.
not able to cope up. It's like,
Mm.
as a startup, like I said, it's a bootstrap startup, right? I mean, I don't have excess funds that I hire a bench of 50 inspectors and keep them. When the business comes, we'll give it to you. So it's like,
Mm.
we're not able to keep up with the business that we are getting. We're not able to keep up with the hiring,
Nice.
and also
Nice.
because we have this prerequisite of a 1 month training before we launch them in the city. So
Got it.
that is a bit of a challenge.
And how hard it is for a new player to get into this industry? Is it way too technical an industry to be good at and offer a good product? Like, does it need a technical know-how, which is your maybe a differentiator? Is that how it is?
Yeah, so to be honest, it's not difficult to. There's no entry barrier as such.
Hmm.
Anybody who is technically sound, who can, sort of draw out a good, process, who can tie up with a big name, an authority, a virtual authority in the business, like we have done with IIT Roorkee.
Right.
If somebody has the capability of doing this, then I don't see much of an entry barrier in this space. It has an opportunity to generate a lot of employment, especially if we go the freelance way. That's one of our ideas. We'd probably go. We'd probably have freelancers, on empaneled with us. So they have
Nice.
their regular job, and as a side gig, we can provide them with the equipment, we can provide them with the technology, the customers, the CRM, everything
Mm.
else managed by us. Just the inspection part of it, they need to go and just do the inspection. That's something that we're working on.
Not franchisee model, no? There is no.
No, no, no. We want to control. We want to keep a control over you know,
Got
our
it.
deliverable.
Got it.
So
So you mentioned about, and if entry barrier is low, what would it take for somebody to become a winner? Okay, I know there are local players, but pan India, what does it take then? Is it how do you manage scale and reputation and brand? Are these the factors to become a winner
absolutely,
across India? Okay.
absolutely, absolutely. So I'll give you an example. In India, we use the term geezer, right? That you have a
Geyser,
geezer.
yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
Geyser.
So geezer is not it's a brand. It's
Hmm.
actually a water heater, right?
Right.
Now, we use things like Godrej ki almari, right?
Hmm.
It's not a
अलमारी
Godrej
भी नहीं बोलते, गोदरेज बोलते हैं उसको, हाँ,
Godrej,
right.
Godrej Almari, right? It's not. So, I mean, why is this? Because they've created that brand for themselves,
Brand category leader, yeah. Hmm.
brand category. That's what we intend becoming in the home inspection space.
And you have a
Uh,
good name also, no? PropChk is a very good name. It
a
just it
lot of
just
people, believe me, Ravi, a lot of people, they're like, hello, हमें PropChk कराना है. That's how they I'm like, okay, let it be.
Uh, it's a very whose idea was that? It's a really good name. It has an Amazon smiley as well.
It has a smiley, yes. So yeah, it's like a check with
Yeah,
a smile, and it just
nice. So
yeah. So
it's a very good name. It registers well in the mind, and yeah, there's brand recall. Okay, so all checkboxes ticked for a brand category.
thank you, thank you, thank you.
Excellent. So so you said you're bootstrapped and no immediate plans to raise fund, but you would want to again succeed and capture market, raise your valuation before you can
Yes,
fund
yes.
yourself. But still, what are your future plans of growth and business diversification in the next 1 year or 2 years? Maybe 2 years for a startup like you is too long. What is the next 1 year plan in business growth and diversification?
Um, First, we'd like to focus more on B2B because B2C is set, getting a lot of inquiries, a lot of closures are happening. It's that business piece is set. It's just organically going to grow. On the B2B front, we really want to reach out now, to all the big players in different categories and educate them about the service and, kind of get empaneled with them as their quality audit partners. Besides, we are considering, we're still evaluating going the freelance way because if we have to reach to every town, every city in India, we cannot be running a very operationally heavy game, right? We can't be
Mm,
having people on board,
nice.
on our payrolls. So that is something that we're considering. We're also considering going global if all goes well.
Nice.
Next year, same time, we may be, probably I may be talking from a city like Dubai or Germany for all you know.
Right. So you mentioned about Western countries who have a different kind of say models, okay, different kinds of interiors and stuff like that.
Yes. Yeah.
So you even if you go to newer countries, you will have data points based on those countries and those houses, isn't
Absolutely.
it?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Excellent. To this, I think we covered a lot of ground, almost an hour now, but I thoroughly enjoyed Saurabh. This brings us to the end of a very fascinating conversation with Saurabh. I completely thoroughly enjoyed you. You are a veteran from the industry, so your answers
Oh no, don't call me a veteran, please. I'm still every day is still a day for me.
nice. But all the best to Saurabh.
Thank
I
you.
sincerely feel that you are set to do bigger things. And as I said, maybe next year we'll have another round of conversations to see where you are.
Yes.
Thanks for your time. And
Thank you very much for having me over, Ravi. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thanks.
see you around, Saurabh. Bye bye.